So I've been working on the player custom things, and this is how it looks so far. I think it's in the state where people could start making their own custom things and putting into the game. So you could mix things up like that. I held shift so that it would just replace whatever was missing. If you just drag it over, it'll replace everything. So you can mix and match your own things. You search and whatnot. You have your taunts, and this can have audio group taunts. You'll notice that there is like a limit on the amount of memory it takes up. This is so the bandwidth sending over the network, it's not so much, just lower the traffic. I'll join the game. It could take a while for it to be sent over, depending on how many people in the room. A full room can take like a minute or so, but you can see I could do like this. I can move around. I could change how I want the taunt to work. So you could see that this, I move my camera, doesn't move my body, but with this taunt my camera does, and it's faster. You can see I could actually also do the taunts of the other person in the room. So when there's a full room, you'll have all the names of the people in the room, and you'll be able to do all the taunts that they have. This way there's more to play around with. This is a group taunt, so I'm waiting for me to interact. And there's also death taunts, which is if you do a group taunt over a dead body, it'll force them to do the taunt with you. So that could be a little fun. There's, in case someone has an annoying model or animation, you'll be able to disable it. So I'm pressing control while in the scoreboard. I'm right clicking, and you'll have all these options. You could actually save someone else's models and taunts if you want. I know some people might not like that, but there's a couple reasons for this. One, hackers will be able to do it anyways, so might as well let everyone do it. Another reason is not everyone has time to make their own things, so it's nice to just be able to take someone else's if you like it. But I could disable, in case it's annoying, I could disable their taunt. So even if I do a taunt, it'll just look like a T-pose. You could also mute. There's also a block. I can't block this person because you can't block the leader, but other people will be able to block in case someone's hacking or is annoying. You should really only use it for hacking, very extreme cases. So unfortunately, if the leader blocks you, you'll disconnect from the lobby, because you need to be connected to the leader to be in his room. So the leader kind of has a lot of power. You also have vote kicking or vote ban. The way this works is even if it's toggled, it won't show to everyone else that you're trying to kick them from the room. Instead, everyone would just have to also do it. But the thing is, you could just tick it, keep it ticked, and kind of forget about it, and it will stay ticked. And you could vote ban up to like 20 people. So even if they leave the room and come back in, you'll still be trying to vote ban them. If you leave the lobby, then it'll get reset. Also, when someone's doing a taunt, you could walk up to them, press the interact button, which is currently G, and you'll start to do the same taunt they're doing. To make things easier, if you do a taunt and you exit out of it, you could press, currently it's the B button, to repeat the last taunt you did. This way you don't have to go searching for it, and you could just keep doing the last taunt you did. Currently the default is using this wheel. The main reason I had this wheel is for when selecting other people taunts, because there could be like up to 15 people in the room, so it could be a little bit much to select. But there's another way to choose your custom taunts. Here you have the taunts radar menu. If you disable that, then you have this little selection menu up here. You can just press the number key. I actually prefer this way because it's kind of out of the way, but you could choose whichever you want. Also, in the options and custom, you have some options to completely disable the custom things or control what exactly you want, just in case your network can't handle it. So a couple of downsides to the custom models is you see I have this band custom model. If I put it on, the reason I have these points here, if you remove all your custom models, you have these points, and the reason I have it here is this is just to prevent people from being invisible. I wanted to originally do checks to make sure people weren't invisible, but it's getting a little bit complicated, so maybe in the future I'll look into it again. But for now I just have these points so that they're not completely invisible in case they happen to put a model that is basically really tiny, and so you can't even see it, but you have these points so they're not invisible. But it's still not good enough, and I'll show you why. Because there's this band taunt that I made, which is basically just putting all their, it'll be easier to show with an actual model. It's squish, the animation is just him squishing into a tiny little ball, and when you combine that with the pretty much invisible model, it makes it difficult to even see. So if I go in game like this, if I do that taunt, which is the band taunt, pretty difficult to see, but if I notice someone's doing that, I'll just disable, and that's that. So hopefully it's not that big of a deal. Maybe you'll die once to someone who's doing that, but then you disable their things and it should be fine. Something to also keep in mind is that although now a lot of these things anybody can do, in the future some of these things might be microtransactions. Pretty much everything I've shown right now is planned to be free except for starting group taunts. Starting group taunts, I'm planning on having it to be a paid thing, but doing a death taunt will be free, so you could still have a group taunt to do a death taunt. But in the future, I plan to make this a paid thing that only people who paid can start a group taunt. Of course, you could still, if you don't have to pay to interact with people who have group taunts, but it's similar to TF2, how TF2 has taunts like these. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't want people to be too disappointed in the future when they see things start to have prices on them. That is, if the game even becomes popular. So we'll see how things go. Things can change. So there's going to be video tutorials on how to make them. It should be in the description of the video. I think even though this might be abused by some people to do annoying things, I think it'll be overall fun to mess around with, to do these taunts while playing. You could do them in the air, you could do them whatever. I don't want it to limit it that much. That's why I like just being able to do it whenever. And the death taunts, I think, will be pretty fun to do. So hopefully you guys like it, and let me know if creating them is too difficult. In the beginning, it's probably going to be a little bit rough to make your own stuff. Hopefully I'll make better tools, so it'll be easier.